Hi traders. Okay, let's take a look at a strategy I've got on TradingView for you. So we're looking at gold here, and those of you who know TradingView, there's some advantages to it, that being there's a lot of great indicators. Also that if you save a template, it gets saved to your phone, so you can see pretty much the same indicators on your mobile device. Whereas MetaTrader, that's not the case. Very limited representation of indicators and usage on a mobile device. It's almost impossible to trade on a MetaTrader app. Whereas with TradingView, we can develop a strategy here. You can observe a setup and then go to your MT5 or MT4 app and open a trade. So during that process, it's going to be time consuming and effort. So don't try and trade too many pairs. Plus, the strategy is going to require a very big stop loss. You're going to have to measure that yourself. I'll give you take profit 1 and 2. But the other thing, the negative about TradingView, is the back testing. You know, on 5 minute, we're probably going to go back 3 weeks, unless you have a subscription, but not everybody wants to pay $15. Plus, we're limited to 2 indicators, and that's exactly what we have here. So this is the first one. It's called Forex Trend Prediction and Signals Indicator. Go and download that from a group called Atmosphere Stocks Trade. That's the one. And then add average true range, just a standard one. Average true range, set it to 1,000. Just double click on it. Change this value to 1,000, and then just bring the window down a little bit. So we're just going to see what that value is. See, we've got a 18.45. Now, use some common sense. This is gold, so that's not 1.8 pips. Make that 18.5. So we take 18.5 and you double that value. So whatever product we're trading, you double that value for take profit 1. So that's the only indicators. And tidy up your chart. You can just right click anywhere here and you can remove all of these features on here. You can see the chart's very clean. Okay, so first thing is we're doing 1 trade per direction. So if you have a sell set up, you do a sell. And if it changes, you ignore the sell. So now we're looking for buys. And if you have a buy here, don't add a buy here. It's 1 per direction. So we have a buy running here. Don't do this one because this is going to get a loss. Also, observe news. You know, the US news is the major ones, and US Open, which is roughly here, 16.25. Always pause for about 4 bars before you re-enter a trade. Okay, so as we measured, we have 18.5 as our original value, take profit. We double that, so it's 36. So at the buy point here, and the nice thing about this is you can set alerts for these. You can set up 1 alert per product, so that would be a buy and a sell, and that's all you're waiting for, is the alert to pop up and tell you. So when you have a buy here, you then pop over to your MT4 or 5 app and you open 2 trades. The first one, you set a target of 36 points, so it hits it right about there. Your stop loss would originally be way down, over 200 points, perhaps 10 times that original value, so 360. Probably a good way to start. And once you've hit take profit 1, 36, and you come back 30 minutes later, so you don't have to watch this every 5 minutes, you'll see, okay, take profit 1 is hit. My stop loss should now be moved to double that value, 72. So that's about there somewhere. Then you get taken out, and what do you notice? US market is opening. So you pause your trade for a few bars, maybe 3, 4, 5, then you can re-enter. Why do we re-enter? Well, we still have a buy signal. And then we look for 36 points again, stop loss 72, and we get taken out here. So because the stop loss is double the original, you're going to want to open up, say, an 02 for target 1 and an 01 for 2. So when you close the first trade, you're making $10, and when your stop loss gets hit, you lose $10. But if you did an 01 and 01, you would make 5 and lose 10. Now, if your trade size is a bit bigger, you can then go 40%, 60%. Close 60% and leave 40 to run. So yes, you would lose a bit more every time it's hit, but you'll see in the long run it's worthwhile. So here we have a trade and we don't get a loss. So we'll just put a marker here. I may not do this for all of them, I'm going to run through it a bit quicker. And then we had a buy here and then stopped out here. But then we possibly bought again. So it depends what time you trade until. Probably around 10 p.m. for those. This is a GMT, so probably to around this point. So this is where it gets interesting. So if we got hit stop loss there, US open, we waited a bit. We then got 36 again, stop loss 72, which is right at the bottom there. We could re-enter a trade and that would be a win, because it still hasn't turned to a sell yet. Now it's only turned to a sell, and that wouldn't be opening trades. Be very careful opening trades this late if you're going to leave them overnight, because you're only going to arrive sometime this morning. So what do you do with a trade like this? If you did trade and maybe you had someone trading with you, yes, there would be a sell. Then once the signal changes, you can add a bit of a trade above, and you want to exit 12 hours after the signal has changed. So if you sold down here, that's 14.30, you want to exit at 2.30. So you'd lose 140 points. But notice you'd have a buy running here. Why? Because we've swapped back into a buy, so you can do a buy here. And maybe you're somewhat hedged, because now you have a buy here and a sell here. But you're going to close first part here. And that's a large amount of profits. You could have had a win there. And this one's going to be a loss. But fortunately you weren't trading this one, right? It's a bit late. Here's a sell, so you probably only start somewhere around here in the morning. But I would always look back and see where the trade would have been. So the trade would have been a sell here, means you would have hit target here. You're still using, the ATR's dropped to 17, so that's 34.5. So there's your 34, it gets it. 70 odd. So actually the stop loss would be sitting over here. So that's what you need to check in the morning. Don't just open a trade as soon as you get to the screen and you see a sell. Go back and check. Okay, we would have had a sell running there, stop loss would be there. And just wait for it to get to that point. You can either enter here with your stop loss there and lose a bit, or wait for it to get hit and then re-enter. You would sell again there. Possibly a win, because that went all the way down there to 0.5%. Maybe. So we had a win from there. And this one, because as I said, don't sell at every one of these. We're just now going to buy once. You possibly do one per day, so if you have this sell, ignore this one. There's our 34, and we have a stop loss slightly over 70. See why we double it? See, there's our stop loss sitting just below that bar over there. It's on that red bar. Sorry, no. Yeah, we're definitely still in that trade, so that's a win. If you did take this sell, notice we swap into a buy here. That's not very far. You want to exit this sell. Do you want to take this buy? Yes, you possibly could. See, that's the thing. You can only do 3 weeks of testing. How much can you really do? Now, when you get here in the morning, do you take this buy? No, because it's running from here. And you ignore this one. Here's a sell. So I'm not going to draw in all the little icon things. We're just going to go through it a bit quicker. And we'll probably swap over to a few other pairs. Do some testing, and by all means, go do some yourself. You've got all the tools you need now. So I'll just do a couple more pairs, and if there's any good reviews or observations, leave it in the comments. So again, check the ATR is now picked up a bit. 19, so about 38. Wow, okay, 38. Stop loss sitting down there somewhere. Easy peasy. This sell would hit target there, stop loss there. This buy would be another win. This sell would be trouble. So let's see what happens here. Sell would be here. Just turns right away on you. Now, if you get here in the morning and you see this sell, you can take the trade here because it's the first change in direction. And it hasn't hit TP1. So you know if you sell here, your TP1 is somewhere down here where we had 20. Okay, now it's 40. So from there, target is, good grief, 40. Now it swaps to a buy over there. So you can, as I said, add a small amount up there, and you can try and get out at 61 fib. So if you sold there, measure all the way to the highest point, there's 61 fib. So once it's changed direction, wait for it to retrace to that 61 fib level and exit. Give or take, maybe you want a little lower, maybe 75, 70%, something like that. And then, as I said, 12 hours later, so that would be around midnight, you would exit this sell. And what happens? It comes back, still in the recovered. So it's not a loss because we added a small amount about here. Now this trade would hit first target, and then stop loss would be hit here. Okay, what time is this? This could be news here. 15:30, very likely a news bar. So you want to wait about 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'd enter again for a buy there. That's another win. Well, I just see a lot of ticks everywhere. Not too bad. Let's go and have a look at maybe a currency pair. So Euro Aussie. Okay, so where we are today is the 10th. Let's start here. Okay, so let's assume we're going to this buy here, 7 in the morning. ATR is telling us 6 points, so you double that, 12. Do we get 12? No. Right, changes direction. Add a trade, but you probably wouldn't because it doesn't drop much. You'd probably try and, don't add it at the close of the bar. Let the price fall a bit and add down here, which it doesn't. So there's your 61 retrace. So this is what you've got to backtest to see how much it pulls back every time. So from the changes signal, we want to exit this buy. So it pulls back and we exit here. Make a loss of 10 points or so. And now we're in this sell. This sell, we're looking for 12. There's hits first target. Possibly a win. This buy would hit first target, stop loss would be here. This is a bit early, so maybe you arrive here and you know this one's stop loss is going to be sitting here. So either you wait for it to get to it and then add, play around with that. As I say, don't sell again here because this one's active. Yeah, interesting thing with some of the Forex pairs, especially like the Aussie, you know the news is going to be like 2 to 4 in the morning. So if you have a buy this late, check the news the next day, because I mean this thing can just drop 1% easy, and you wouldn't have, well I mean sure you have your stop loss, so what did we say, 10 times the value, so 120 points stop loss. Yeah, that's a fair distance. And watch the other videos on how to calculate your trade size. So this sell, depending if this is news here, you would pause, wait a bit, and then sell from here. That's a win. Ignore this one. Again, a bit late for a currency pair overnight. This sell over here, 6 points. So yeah, it gets first target is 12, give or take with the spread. Which means the stop loss is 24, give or take with the spread, maybe it's hit there. But that's where you would add again, not down here. See, this one's going to get you in trouble, because this one doesn't get target 1. No, it does not. So then you would wait 12 hours after that. So you can avoid this loss by recognizing what happened earlier in the morning. There would be a sell from here or here. Don't jump into it down the bottom here. This is a good win over here. Obviously, ignore this one because we still from buy to buy. Now we sell. Okay, here's trouble. We know this one will be a win, and this one's going to be a straight up loss. Here's a first sell here. Probably hit target here somewhere. 7. So 14, it's there. Stop loss would be 28. Good stuff. I suggest when you've made a loss, because we do this partial close thing, we close half at 40%, or 40% at 12 pips. You could, either leave the second part to run a bit further, or absorb some of the loss and only get 80%. So if you lost, how much did we lose here? It'd be 12 hours from 18 is 620. So somewhere here you exit the trade. That's 130 point loss. This one, you only have 60% of the trade running. You would need a lot more than 130. You would need about 160. So that could recover that loss. The safer way to do it is aim for 80% of what you lost here. So what did we say it was? 140. That would be about 110 or so. So this trade, close it at 110. And then just work on your next one. So this one won't win as much, but at least you're not positive on these two. Don't try and get that whole loss back. So that's a win there. Here's a win here. Here's again another loss, but again we're heading into late, so you want to close this sell. It avoids that loss over here. That's good. This is a win. This sell here would have hit first target. Stop loss would have been there. First target. Even this one with exit there. This one first target. What do we got now? 10, so 22. That's 50 pips. This 8 hour is very lagging. Is it 100 points? This is 14, 16. Okay, that's all it's saying. So we're going for 22 points. We get that quite quickly. Stop loss 44. So either there and there. And you just keep selling. Eventually you'll work your way up so that when you get this buy, you exit and make no loss. This is why you need a big stop loss. So what did we have? 30. So with 300 point stop loss, or you're going to get taken out. There's a huge loss. How do we get this one back? Great win there. This one, this buy here, we're going to have some drawdown. 400 point stop loss. Okay, that's fine. Changes direction, because this one doesn't get first target. Changes direction, as I say, enter another small trade lower. Drawing your fib tool from entry to the lowest point, but only after the signal's changed. So there's your exit level somewhere around here. Plus you added a small amount here, so you can mitigate the entire loss somewhat. And then you'd sell again here because we've changed it's one per change in direction. So there's a sell when this buy came back. You can sell again here. We're looking at 40 points. 40 points for target 1. 40, and then your stop loss 80. Yep. Yeah, absolute diamond of a win. So it's really just one of those persistence. You know, stick with it. You can see this buy would be running. So on the pound Aussie, I would say 2-3 wins a week is incredible. So I didn't put all the ticks in, but there were plenty of wins to be had. Okay, traders, hope this is useful. All the best. Take care.